Youth Alive Trust is a youth and community development agency that has been serving whānau on the east of Christchurch for over 30 years. We support hundreds of young people every week through a wide variety of programs, including youth clubs, holiday activities, community events, school support, and wider whānau support. Inspired by our Christian roots, our core team of staff and volunteers are motivated by our mission statement: building brighter futures for young people on the east of Christchurch. Every young person counts. Every young person deserves to be listened to be valued, and to be built up. We practice the 5 ways of well-being throughout our programs: connecting, being active, taking notice, giving, and always learning. We do a lot, but there's always more we could be doing, more young people we could be supporting, and there are many ways that you can get involved too. Find out more through our website and social media pages, or just pop in for a chat.
Tēnā koutou katoa, I tipu aku ake ahau ki Awherika ki te Tonga. Engari ko Aotearoa toku ka inga inai anei. E kai whakahaere ahau ki a Youth Life Trust, ko David toku ingua, no reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. So welcome to our 22 supporters lunch today. My name is David, and as you can probably tell from the way I try to pronounce Te Reo and speak, I was born in South Africa and raised there. Currently live in Selwyn and have been part of the management team at Youth Life Trust since October 2018. But thank you so much for deciding to spend your lunch with us today. So giving us the opportunity to share what we've been up to the last 12 months with you, and also celebrate and share the stories that inspires us to continue doing what we do. So just before we're going to get into that, just a bit of housekeeping. So the wharepaku is just across the hall, past the kitchen. Gentlemen on the left and the ladies to your right. In case of the fire, we'll exit through the doors at the back, turn to the right, leave the building through the main entrance, and the meeting spot is in front of the building across Seaview Road. So in case of an earthquake, please stay put until the building manager gives further instructions. And of course, there's plenty to eat and drink, so please feel free to help yourself as you would like. So we've recently spent some time as a team to think about what YAT's future is going to look like, and to define a new strategy for ourselves. And so in the process, we've redefined our vision. So our vision statement at this stage is to see Tamariki, Rangatai, and their whānau filled with hope. And really some of the stories that you're going to hear today and that some of our staff will be sharing with you will reflect this vision that we have. We are in the fortunate position to be supported in working towards this vision and pursuing this vision by a dedicated and skilled team of staff members. At the moment, we have 17 full-time and part-time staff, 11 contractors, 11 casual staff members, 44 volunteers, and 8 trustees. 3 new trustees that joined the board this year, with Greg Irvine, that's going to speak later today, as elected as chair. So 2 of our long-term trustees, and I see Andrew Hill is sitting at the back, so I've retired recently. So Scott Pickering and Andrew has just stepped down from the board. And between them, they've done an incredible 71 years of service to the trust, which we are super grateful for. And thank you so much for that, Andrew. So this time I'm going to hand over to James, and he'll be talking about some the programs, and then I'll see you in a bit later.
No, it is an honour to speak in front of you all today, and I realise you've all come from different places and you are giving up your lunch hour to listen to us ramble on. So I apologise about the English accent, but I really am trying. I've been at Youth Alive Trust for 19 years as of January, and I only came across for a gap year just to experience what a different culture would feel like, and to experience a bit of an OE kind of. And then I thought, after a year, I was like, this place is awesome. I might just stay for one more year. And then that one year became another and another, and I married a lady and all that type of stuff as well. But I've not left Youth Alive Trust since I started, because it's such a special place. I see every day the difference it makes in this community. And it's something I've been willing to give my life and my career for, because I know it's making a difference in young people's lives. So I'm passionate about it, and that's why these supporters lunches are so important for us, as well as for you, because we get to tell the stories to each other. We get to hear those stories, and we get to reflect on why we do what we do. We're going to tell you all about the stats and the programs that we run, but we particularly talk about the 5 ways to well-being. Everything we do kind of revolves into these kind of 5 ways about bringing well-being to young people's lives. The first one being connecting, where young people connect with one another, creating new friendships and existing friendships, where they connect with youth workers, adult role models, mentors, where they're connecting with a wider organisation that has that wider sense of support. The second area is giving, where volunteers give of their time, where young people take part in community service projects, making our area a better place, where we have an attitude of servant-heartedness, where everybody gets stuck in and helps out the running and the clean-up time and everything that goes with that. Taking notice is the third point, a place of self-reflecting, a place of goal-setting, a place of enjoying nature and the area in which we live. The fourth is learning. So we want young people to learn musical skills, sports skills, cooking, camps, crafts, outdoor experiences, leadership skills where they've been developed. And finally, being active, doing something physical, coming away from the screens, whether that be sports or games or activities or table tennis or basketball or disc golf or whatever that might look like. This is what we do. And we actually do these through our 10 different projects. Project number 1 is our 8 weekly after-school clubs. All for different ages, all with different purposes, all with a different focus. Our Tamatane Boys Club is on a Thursday afternoon for an hour and a half, where the boys can just be boys. They play games and activities, but they also do crafts. They go on outings. They're run by some staff and some key volunteers. And the boys aged 5 to about 9 years old, they just love it. They run around. It's noisy. The reception doesn't necessarily like it. It's not their most favorite club, but they do have a great time. On the opposite is the girls' club on a Wednesday afternoon, who don't make as much noise, but they do pretty much all the same activities as the boys, the games, the sports, the activities. And sometimes you walk into that room and they're just all dancing with their junior leaders, all these teenage girls, and they're just dancing. And I'm like, that does not happen at Boys Club. Rock Solid's our intermediates program on a Friday from 4:30 till 6:30, and again, it's a hangout place. Kids come from all our local different schools, and they do activities and fear factor challenges and selfie competitions and anything which just has a laugh and just brings enjoyment and fun. And the same with our teenage club on a Friday night. Surge, again, a place where the teenagers can just be themselves and just hang out, do some fun activities, but also connect with one another, and particularly our local primary school kids who go off to different high schools. They come back together and continue those friendships afterwards. We have some specialist clubs as well, which special interests, like our craft club, our basketball clubs, our kitchen club, and recently we've started a disc golf club, where some passionate youth workers of ours are taking groups of teenagers to play disc golf in our local community. I want to introduce Finn, who's one of our youth workers, who works in some of these clubs. Good. Get into it.
E pupuri atu nei te manuhiri o te rānei me te whānau. Nau mai hara mai tau te mai. Ko taranaki tōku monga, ko kaupaka nui tōku awa, ko ushu tōku whānau. Ko Finn tōku ingoa, ko Orua Pairua, rawa ko Aranui o ku kāinga, no reira he East. Ko te kaumārima o Wiramu o ku hu. Pretty nice. My name is Finn. I've been in a paid role with YAT since 2020, and this year I took on the Praxis internship, which was just a blessing, and I've been through that. I've been involved with a number of different clubs. The Disky, is that Jasper? the man. With Diski, Tamatane, Kitchen Club, and Surge. Man, I think the one I'm probably most passionate about, I love Surge, I love our rangatahi, but Tamatane is probably where I see the most impacts. And I think Tamatane is a great place for us to grow our young tāne's mana. Using the circle of mana, I can see that through that whole program, man. Like, we have like identity and belonging through that program. Like, we're teaching these boys to be solid young men. They belong in that group. They have influence and responsibility, man. It's sick seeing them kids, you know, help each other out. And J-Dux is like the man at Challenge by Choice. He's like got these boys like, you know, running stuff, cleaning up after themselves. That's mean. Generosity when we make kai. You know, they're always taking our home to the whānau and stuff. And yeah, that's awesome seeing these young boys grow their mana. Surge is probably what started my journey with YAT. That's what got me involved with it. So it's mean to see the effects that program has had on me, and now feeding into these other young people in the community. I'd sort of look at that as te wharitapa whā, like we're taking care of these boys tinana, or these rangatahi tinana, getting them active, getting them off the PlayStation, getting them out the streets. Hini ngaro, same thing, and just growing whanaungatanga, growing the community vibe. I feel like a Friday night just booms around here, eh? Booms. Yeah, sorry, I was meant to talk about, I'm that guy, eh? I was meant to talk about Tamatane. We work with like a lot of boys that are neurodiverse, so it's mean to see these boys, you know, create connections and learn how to socialize and have these role models, Jaden and I and our volunteers around Henry as well. Yeah, and we've been on this journey with this young boy this year, and he was quite, what would you say, like explosive, heightened at the start of the year. And I think he's just really, you know, picked it up, been socializing, and we've got a relationship with Mum, and we sort of coordinate what we can do to help him. Yeah, it's crazy the journey that boy's been on. Is there anything else you need me to say?
That's sweet, Finn. You did great.
Me.
Well done.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, we've had over 4,400 individual participants at our 8 weekly youth clubs in that 12-month period. Our youth workers go into some of our local schools. At Rafiti Primary, we've got a female youth worker, and we've got a counsellor, and we also offer music lessons. And the youth worker does some mentoring, some sports coaching, some leadership groups, and some social service, social support groups, particularly for the girls. At New Brighton Catholic, we've got a youth worker, Finn, who goes in and does some mentoring with some of the boys, and we've also got a counsellor who works in there as well. And at Shirley Boys, Jaden's part of the 24/7 team there. There's 3 youth workers, and he supports young people there, particularly through some mentoring, and Jaden's just going to stand up and tell a wee story.
Yeah, kia ora everyone, Jaden. I do work in Shirley Boys, but I also spent a few years in Rafiti Primary School as well. And as Finn was saying, I'm really involved in our weekly youth clubs. And I think being in the schools as well as the after-school programs has been really beneficial. Because, you know, we see these boys for, I guess in my case, these boys for 2-3 hours a week. And it's just that. And we come in and there's a whole group. So it's really hard to be really intentional and relational with our young people. And so being in school has really enabled me, and I guess everyone else who is in school as well, to keep developing on those relationships, and we can encourage those boys or you know, talk about what's actually going on in their life, not just providing a space for them to escape or have fun and be safe. So I think that's yeah, really significant for myself. Another thing that I love is just the collaboration between schools and the trust and us as youth workers as well. I go into school and I can talk with learning support or the deans and really find out what's going on with these boys that they may not be so open to share with. If you've ever been around a teenage boy, they don't talk a lot. So it's really nice to get that information where we can, and I think it's a wonderful thing. Thanks.
Beautiful, thanks Jaden. The third project which we do is our Oscar and holiday programs. We have an after-school Oscar program which picks up children from our local schools every day. They're joining those existing clubs and have just become more and more part of the family because we see them every day and we get to know their families really well too. Hannah is one of the coordinators of our Oscar and she's just going to tell you a bit of a story.
Hi, so I'm Hannah. Just want to share a story about a family that comes along to our Oscar program. So it's three sisters. They started coming along at the start of the year. We got to know them quite well. They come every single day, and their dad was having some quite significant health issues in and out of hospital a lot. And we discovered that they were actually living in a two-bedroom house. There were 5 of them in the house living in a two-bedroom place, and they managed to get this, to be able to move into this 3-bedroom house. And so they were just asking for like a few extra things to fill out this house when they moved in. And we thought this was just such a cool opportunity to actually bless them and give them like a whole house full of new stuff. So we asked for donations and of like money and furniture and things like that. And through that, we were actually able to go into their new house, which was like brand new house, and put like everything new. Like they got new beds and like new couch and fridge and microwave and everything. So it's just really cool to see the impact that that's had on the family and the impact that will continue to have just from them being a part of our program. So yeah, it's been cool.
Beautiful. We run 3 different holiday programs in every set of holidays, and about 100 children come to each of the holiday programs in total. Our Kia is our year 1 to year 3s. Our Pukekos is year 4 to year 6s, and our Puwaka Waka is year 7 to year 9s. And again, even though we're running childcare activities, which some people might see as childcare, everything revolves back to those 5 ways to well-being of how can we impact these young people in our best possible way. Our heart isn't just to provide a childcare service as a business. We're here to support these young people. I'll introduce Melissa, who's the coordinator of one of those programs and one of our youth workers.
Cool, so kia ora, I'm Melissa, I'm one of the youth workers here at Youth Alive. Like James mentioned, our school holidays is a really busy time for us. With 3 programs, we cater for up to 100 young people. Our holiday programs are full of laughs, smiles, and good news stories. One good news story that I have from the last holiday program was about a young boy who's come quite regularly. He's a lovely boy, very sweet, very nice, very respectful. But this one program, he just wasn't himself. He was quite aggressive, quite angry, filled with quite a bitterness. So after a day with him at program, I called his father just to chat about what we can do to support him, what's going on, and yeah, just to explain the situation. The dad took me off guard a bit, and he actually apologised for the way that he's been a father in the last few weeks, in the last few months. He mentioned that him and his partner have been arguing quite a bit lately, and they think that's rubbing off on the boy and in his behaviour. The boy came the next day and was amazing. He apologised to the kids involved, to the leaders involved, and it was just awesome to see that our holiday programs don't only impact the child positively, but it impacts the whole family and the wider community with what we supply during our school holidays. Cool, thank you.
Beautiful. Breakaway is another one of the holiday programs that we've been running for the past 10 years with some funding through MSD and Oranga Tamariki, but that funding has come to an end now, so we're not too sure how that is going to continue. We have been doing 160 places every year, free activities in the holidays to get kids doing something proactive and something fun during the holidays, and this is just one of our needs for next year as well. Camps have been a wee bit difficult during the last couple of years because of COVID, but we have continued our teen camp, which is something we do just before Christmas. This year they're going to Hamner Springs, and we hope to take a group of teenagers to Hamner Springs for a long weekend. We've got a father-son camp planned in partnership with Adventure Specialties in February. This has been something that's been really successful in the past, and we've just ran a recent mother-daughter day. We're told that the mothers don't necessarily like camping experiences as much, but they're happy to come out for a day, and they did some jewellery making and they did some rock climbing as well. So a chance for parents and children just to connect and spend that special time together as well. Some of the one-on-one supports that we offer include counselling. So we have, like I mentioned, a counsellor who goes into 2 of our local primary schools. We partner with Doors of Hope Counselling to host some trainee counsellors as well, which can provide free counselling to the community. We would love to be able to offer long-term free counselling with trained counsellors in our offices. It's something we've been talking about for the last few years. We don't have a contract yet, but we'll keep saying it out loud, and someday we'll get some contracts or we'll get some funding to be able to offer young people free counselling. And we do also work trying to recruit mentors and mentees to offer some one-on-one time in a voluntary capacity as well. And I'll introduce Sam, who's one of our volunteer mentors.
Hey guys, I'm Sam, kia ora koutou. So I'm a youth worker here supporting with holiday programs sometimes, but I am a volunteer mentor, and so I mentor this lad, and we've just ticked over a year, and it's really good to see him growing in so many ways from his skills in terms of building on things like he loves his basketball, and I've taught him how to play chess. He's actually beating me now, so you know, one thing I love about mentoring is this: we provide a space to be able to build on skills, teach new skills, provide that one-on-one time, especially when they might not come from a background of having a father at home or brothers or having many friends. So we're able to do that. And I think with mentoring, the best thing is just providing that safe space for that young person to be real and be themselves, and they can come frustrated or come happy or whatever it might be, and you know, and we can still hang out and have a good time. So yeah, I think like James said, I'd just love to see mentoring grow here. It's fantastic, and the results and the relationships are so deep. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Kids Resync was a program birthed by Doors of Hope, Sandy Hitchens, who's one of the counsellors who we work with, to provide some more specialist wraparound support for young people in our local schools who were going through some really tough times. And we worked for a year with students from Rafferty Primary School, and then this year we're working with students from New Brighton Catholic and St James Primary School, where the child comes in, receives some counselling, the parent receives some parent coaching, they receive some music therapy, some occupational therapy, and then they get a song written for them, which becomes their theme song. It's recorded. This year it was done by Michael Bush, Music with Michael, and then they have the lyrics printed out and they can put it in a frame, and that becomes their theme song. It's such a beautiful program. They work with them for the whole term. That will hopefully continue next year as well. Mana Ake is something, we're one of the 12 providers of Mana Ake in Canterbury, alongside places like Bernardo's and Hewakatapu and a few places like that. We've got 5 Mana Ake staff. It actually takes up a third of our overall budget because it's such a big contract. And they offer wellbeing support in our local primary schools to individuals, and then they also go into people's homes and offer wellbeing support there. I'm going to introduce Rachel, who's one of our Mana Ake staff, to tell you a bit of her story.
Oh, kia ora koutou katoa. I'm a prepper, so I prep something, but everyone else is winging it, so I better too. Yeah, as James has said, we're a early intervention mental health and wellbeing service. Our backgrounds are counselling, arts therapy, social work, and teaching. And it's a real privilege to work in the Te Ara Tūhura cluster, which is Belfast, Māori Ho, all the schools in between, down to South New Brighton. So yeah, as James referenced, we do individual work with kids, we do family support in-home, we work collaboratively with teachers and families, we offer parenting courses and supports as well. A couple of quick stories off the top would be cases where I've worked where I've been able to collaborate across all of the resources that we have here at Youth Alive Trust that include Compassion Trust and our youth workers. A wee girl who I taught actually when she was 5, who goes to one of our local schools, got referred to us at the age of 11. So it was nice to re-establish this relationship with her. She was sitting in the back of her class feeling really lonely and really detached with a lot of issues going on at home due to an unwell grandparent who is her primary caregiver. We were able to provide some food support through Compassion Trust. We were able to connect, I was about to say her name, we were able to connect her with some clubs and some just extra people in her village to provide her with a lot of support and joy and connection with some passions and interests in her life. And I was able to do some work with her around her strengths and her identity, and in many ways she's, feeling new. So I could share a myriad of stories similar to that, and it's just a real privilege to work for Youth Alive Trust for Mana Ake. Thanks.
We're involved in some of the bigger community events in the area as well. We host a family fun night each year on the 31st of October. It's an alternative to trick-or-treating, where young people don't have to go knocking on strangers' doors asking for lollies. They can come here and ask for lollies. And we'll provide them with lots of games and activities and just give them a great night out. Good for our staff just to connect with a wider amount of people. We had 750 people at this year's Family Fun Night, and we're just going to show you a wee bit of a highlights video. We're one of the organisers of I Love Brighton, which is a big community event on Waitangi Day. We've been helping run that for over 10 years. This will come back on any second now. There we go. And we run this in partnership with 5 or 6 other local community groups. We usually get 6,000 or 7,000 people at this massive event, so it's a really good chance again for our volunteers to get out into the community outside of this building and do something positive. We've hosted local New Brighton Catholic School disco. We sometimes host dance parties when it's not in COVID times. We are part of a basketball drop-in at the Rafferty Canopy on Tuesday afternoons, where people can just come along and just play some basketball and just hang out and connect with people. We run some parenting and preschool programs. There are 2 play groups that we run every week. It's one on a Tuesday morning and one on a Thursday morning, 9:30 to 11. A chance for mums to connect more than anything else. Babies have a good play, and there's an outdoor play area as well, but it's just a chance for mums to chat to other mums and go, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah, it's hard. There's a breastfeeding support group that we also host, and we also run a perinatal support group. Host a perinatal support group in partnership with some other agencies as well. I want to introduce Kim, who's just going to tell you a little bit about some of the parenting programs that we run.
Kia ora koutou everyone, ko Kim toku ingoa. So I was a youth worker for about 20 years. Worked a lot with kids in town. I love young people, they've been my passion most of my adult life. But I got really, really, really sick of being the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. And it's so cliche, really. So I trained as a social worker and really wanted to see what I could do about being a fence at the top of the cliff. And I think that's where parenting really fits in. So as part of my role with Mana Ake, I run a lot of parenting workshops and seminars and one-on-one stuff with parents. And, you know, we can make a difference in the lives of those whānau when those children are really small. And if mums and dads can learn a couple of really decent skills when their kids are preteen, those can really impact the future of those children. I was just thinking about Stan Walker's song, Bigger. You know, you can be bigger, bigger than this. And I just think that's what we want for our community. We want our community to be bigger, better. And that starts in the homes. It starts with whānau. And so we run courses, sometimes we run toolbox courses, which I worked with the parenting place for a long time, but at this stage we're running programs called Tuning Into Kids and Tuning Into Teens, and that's about emotional coaching. So we're actually not trying to manage kids' behaviour, we're actually helping the child find out why they're behaving like that, and then helping them and their whānau deal with that. And one family that I worked with in my mana ake role, where the child was really, was actually talking about self-harming. She was a 10-year-old girl. She was self-harming, and she was frequently talking about killing herself, and that came to our notice. And when we got into the whānau situation, there was a very, very unwell younger child, and that meant that there was no energy left for mum and dad, and everything was just chaotic because of this child's really, really serious health needs. And so as a mana ake team, we were able to get in there and work with the parents to enable them to sort of untangle all that messy stuff. And out of that, the children started attending school. They're attending clubs here, actually. One of the girls is, she's bringing her friend along now. And that whānau was ticking a whole lot better. And it all came back to just that parenting stuff, supporting mum and dad to do things well, and to kind of tick the boxes they needed to tick. And don't judge them, because it's hard.
Beautiful. We have a music school as well, which teaches young people instruments, whether it would be the guitar, electric, bass, piano, vocals, drums. And we've got some contracted tutors who work with them both in school and in our music rooms in the back there. If you want to go and have a look afterwards, you feel free. Some of the better musicians get together and create little rock bands, and then they go off and do little gigs in our local community or local events, and then maybe do some recordings as well. And we do concerts at the end of the year. I want to introduce Vi, who's the manager of Amplify.
Malolele, my name is Vi, and recently just jumped on here this year, and currently looking after Amplify School of Music. And I started off with just managing the school, and then I jumped on and started teaching. And I think when we're teaching, I got to see the impact that Amplify is really making on some of these young, precious kids. So I'll share a few stories, just they're short. So I have a drum student over at Bromley School, and he's quite a shy kid. And we started off our lessons, and he's like slowly opening up and being like, okay, cool. And then we got to a point where we're like, okay, our lessons are quite, like, we can run for a whole lesson, and it's productive. And then I think in the last couple of weeks now, he turns up 2 lessons early for his lessons because he's just so pumped. And the teachers are like, hey, where's my student gone? I'm like, bro, you got to go back to class, man. You can't be here. Like, your time's not up yet. And he's like, okay, cool. And then I have another student, and he's still waiting outside the window, knocking on the window. He's like, when's my lesson? So it's just really encouraging, it's just really encouraging just to see that the small things that we're doing with these young people are making a huge difference in their hearts. Another story is we have a kid in Rafiti school. So we have tutors over in Marston's primary school, Rafiti, Bromley, and I think Te Waka as well. So we have a kid over in Rafiti school, and one of the teachers, they have like an end of year reflection. And this kid was writing in his end-of-year reflection that he is the happiest when he's having his guitar lessons with his tutor. So just really, just amazing what, just a shout out to our tutors as well, who are not here, but they're doing an amazing job on the east side here. So yeah, it's awesome. Cheers. Aloha.
Brilliant. Our 10th and final project is our volunteer training and support. We give a lot of young people the opportunity to be junior leaders on our programs. So a lot of young people who come along to the Boys and Girls Clubs, who come along to our intermediates and teenage programs, then we see some of the potential in them and say, would you like to come and help on a holiday program? Would you like to come and help on one of the clubs? Would you like to come and face paint at a community event? And they come along and it gives them a new set of skills, it gives them confidence, and it gives them a sense of belonging as well. So we've got quite a lot of volunteers. I think they've mentioned about 44 weekly volunteers and more for the bigger events. And then we do trainings with them fortnightly on various things such as biculturalism and risk management and resources and various other trainings as well. And then we also take on interns and placements. That first video which I showed to you was done by a lady from Hong Kong who did a virtual placement with us this year, creating an animation video. So we try to keep as much people involved as we can without paying as much as we need to. I went into one of the trainings last week with the volunteers and said, does anybody be willing to come to next week's lunch and just stand up and talk to us about what it's like to be a volunteer? And Hayley said, okay, I will. I don't think she knew kind of what she was volunteering for at the time, but I took her word for it, and here she is. I just want Hayley just to introduce herself and tell her what she does.
Hi, as you know, I'm Hayley, and I've been a volunteer here for about 3 years now, and well, I originally started here as a youth at the Rock Solid program on Friday nights, and well, as I finished high school, intermediate, I moved into high school, and then I got offered a, volunteer job at the same thing. So it just gave me a real, just sense of pride, I guess, because I could see from the amount of years that I've been doing it now that the work that we put in here just really makes a difference in their lives, and it really, you can just see how much they've improved in their confidence and all of that stuff. And, well, I volunteer because I used to not talk in front of people, just like this, and well, here I am. It's just given me a lot of confidence, and it's just really nice. I feel, it's quite a family feeling sort of thing. It's just nice to be here. Yeah, thank you.
I told you, this just fills me with such happy warm fuzzies, eh? I love this. Hayley, you smashed it. Like Hayley's story, quite a few young people become volunteers, and some of them get casual workers, maybe on a holiday program, some of them might become interns, and then some of them become staff members. And Finn went through that story, Melissa went through that story, Jaden went through that story, Esther went through that story, and maybe Hayley will be up here in a few years' time presenting from the front as the manager of Youth Alive Trust, who knows? I got the opportunity to film some of Melissa's story from when she started as a young person. I just want to show you that quick video now.
Kia ora, I'm Melissa Entwistle, and I'm a youth worker here at Youth Alive Trust. I first got involved in Youth Alive Trust in 2013. During high school, I went through a bit of a rough patch with friendships, struggling with a bit of bullying and all of that, and it was a fantastic place just to switch off from the world, come here, forget about it, be my bubbly self. As a teenager, I was going along to Surge. I also was a drummer in the girls band for Amplify School of Music. I went to programs like Breakaway and Camp and helped with GBY and I Love New Brighton. I started volunteering at Rock Solid because I loved the young people and I loved the activities we did at Surge and wanted to help to provide that to other young people. So in 2019 I started studying with Praxis to become a youth worker. I really wanted to do that because of the amazing activities and people that helped me along my journey in high school and in youth groups, and really wanted to help to provide a safe place and fun place for other young people and to be able to turn that into a career. Part of my role as a youth worker is doing one-on-one mentoring with young girls. That involves catching up for about an hour a week, hanging out with them, whether that's going to the malls, going to a playground, hanging in school time as well, and doing fun crafts and activities with them. Sometimes it's just grabbing a hot drink and a biscuit at a cafe, and we're able to chat and chat on a bit of a deeper level about how their life's going, how school's going, and be able to really support them. Yeah, I think it's really important for young girls to have someone outside of their usual groups to hang out with, to chat to. Sometimes you don't necessarily want to talk to your parents about all your friendship problems or anything like that, and then you also don't want to talk to your peers about any issues going on at home. So having a different role model is really important. Yeah, I've been mentoring one young lady from about 2019 when I started Praxis, and being able to journey alongside her for the last 4 or so years has been really amazing. Just hanging out with her once a week can really see the impact in her life. She was really struggling with family, with school, with study, with all that, and then seeing her come into a full-time role, being able to get a license and a place of her own to rent has been really amazing. My Christian faith really motivates me in my work here at Youth Alive. It motivates me to show love to other people, whoever they are and wherever they come from, to be able to provide a safe place where they are loved and they are welcomed. That they can be themselves and find their identity. I really see it through the volunteers too, giving up their time to provide a place where young people can be welcomed and loved. The greatest satisfaction I get as a youth worker would be seeing young people come through our doors by themselves or a bit shy, and then leaving with a group of friends and with more confidence and being more bubbly and being themselves.
So thanks for that. So to get away from the good news stories a little bit more to the, I guess, the real world of money, dollars and cents. So our budget or our revenue in the financial year from 1 January to 31 December 2021 was just over $1 million, $1,080,000. Expenses, $1.1 million. And that led to an operating loss of $24,000. Our income breakdown at this stage is just over a third of our income is from a CDHB contract as one of the Mnaaki service providers. 22% are from grants, 23% from fees, 7% donations, 7% contracts, 3% is a donation from Grace Vineyard Church, and 2% investments, and 1% is from fundraising. So, but thank you so much for all of you who continue to support our work, and I hope that you felt like you could share in these stories that we share with you. And we couldn't have done any of that without the support of you in this room today. Our priorities for next year, for 2023, is, as I mentioned in the beginning, or at the start, is that we have started defining a new strategy for the Trust. And so in the new year, we'll be implementing or finishing and implementing our new strategy. Program-wise, the focus will be on expanding what we are currently providing for teenagers in the community on the east of Christchurch. And we definitely want to do more parent-child experiences like Father-Son Camp that's coming up in towards the end of February next year, and the Mother-Daughter Day that we've just recently had. So, but thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for your continued support. I'll hand over to Greg, our chairperson, and he'll close off the formal part of today.
Does this work? I'm not smart enough to quite freestyle it like the others, so I've got a 50-point sermon to give you. No, not really. Hey, for those that don't know me, I'm Greg Irvine, and I've got the absolute privilege of being the chairperson of YAT, and also to round off this wonderful event today. Every time I hear about YAT, I'm just blown away by the stories and the feedback and the powerful positive influence that these guys have and you guys have on this side of Christchurch. And today's just been another celebration, just wonderful stories. It's just makes me so encouraged. However, these, I suppose, celebrations wouldn't be without the hard work, the perseverance, and the determination from you guys in the room. And I would just firstly like to thank the staff of YAT, so those that are obviously paid and those volunteers. The last few years have been tough, COVID-filled years, and you've really done it. So without you, this trust isn't anything, or it isn't what it is. So we really appreciate the staff. So thank you to you guys from the bottom of our hearts. We really thank you for what you do. And to you, the friends of YAT and the donors, we're so grateful that you've given faithfully over the last year, and also over many years, for that matter. Without your amazing contribution, YAT can't offer the services and the programs that we offer. And so with your generous gifts, YAT's been able to really sow the seeds into the lives of the young people in their whānau. So again, we can't thank you enough. Lastly, I'd like to thank three special people. One sitting over here, Linda, who's done how many years of service? Over 20, many years. And Scott Pickering, they've been on our board for over 20 years. Scott, nearly 30 years. And they've really helped to get YAT to where it is. They've really done the hard mahi. So we thank you for your amazing service. I don't think Scott's here today. And lastly, I'd really like to thank the man at the back of the room who's hiding, Andrew Hill. For those that don't know, Andrew was the first community youth worker employed here in Brighton back in 1988 when YAT first started. So Andrew's been with YAT for the last 34 years. Amazing. So Andrew, we thank you for your humble and faithful service over that time. You know, my few words now can't really express what you've done for YAT and the community. So Andrew, well done. So that's me. So thank you all for coming. You all contribute to make YAT what it is. Basically, to put it as short as I can, you make YAT a simply amazing place filled with hope. So thank you all for coming. Travel safe. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.